Hello, NB pals! This is a reminder from the mod team about posting images. 1. Always include an image description. An example is, image, an indigenous NB with dark hair wearing a red shirt and sitting on their bed. These are vital for our accessibility purposes. If you need help writing one, simply put that in the post and we will assist you. 2. Selfies and pictures of white people should not be posted as their own thread. In order to make this group more comfortable for people of color who are often constantly exposed to white faces everywhere, please nest such images in the comments of a post. You can make a selfie post, or we have a white selfie thread if that's easier for you. 3. White passing people of color are of course people of color, but still have an element of privilege. White passing people of color can post selfies as their own thread, but please keep in mind your white passing privilege. If you are white passing, it wouldn't hurt to include your race in the image description to let the mods know. Otherwise, we'll likely ask just to be sure since not everyone is aware of this rule. Thank you!
If you're non-binary, please remember that like 90% of legendary Pokemon are genderless. Also, it doesn't matter what you present as or look like.
One time, a high school teacher called me she, so I said, "I'm actually a boy, miss." Then one of my classmates slams his hands on the desk and shouts, "You're no boy." I turned around to him. He said, "You're a man." I turned back around sheepishly smiling while all my male classmates cheered and shouted. My teacher simply smiled, apologized, and the lesson continued. I'm thankful for that moment in my life. It gives me hope for the future, that more trans people will be supported and visible.
The fact they call women who cam girls, emphasis on girl, is so fucking showing of the way men view women. They don't want us to be women, they want us to be girls. They infantilize us and project an innocence on us for their sexual pleasure. It's why they want women to shave and be hairless and submissive. It's why they want child brides. Men are so fucking evil.
Small boob privilege is so real, like bralettes, underboob, tattoos, going braless, not looking hypersexual at all times, running comfortably. I could go on.
Yes! Finally someone said this. Girls with big boobs are jealous of the girls with small chests. Girls with little titties always want bigger ones. There's no middle ground. Me, I love all boobs, regardless of size. They're all fun, they're all gorgeous, and I can't get enough of them. Please feel free to share.
Everyone please pray for this man. He's so out of his mind. He hallucinated the part where I asked. It's so sad.
Why are men like this?
I'm sorry, but could I get some advice from black people? Me and my black friend went out to pick up our friend. She said she was still getting ready. And when she opened the door, she had a blackface mask on? And she's white? My black friend didn't say anything, but I know she must have been so triggered to sit there in this white woman's house while she walks around essentially in blackface. I didn't want to say anything, but I hope she didn't feel unsafe. What could I have done in that situation? I feel so bad for letting this happen.
There's no shame in not being able to take your dog for walks. Don't be afraid to put your needs first. Slavery still exists. Everywhere in this fucking world, there are fucking white men forcing women into heterosexual relationships instead of allowing them to discover their true sexuality. They brainwash these innocent women into believing they only exist to fulfill the sexual desires of men. I fucking hate this world.
Reblog if Black Lives Matter to you.
Where are those woke white people at? The amount of notes this doesn't have bothers me. Tumblr has 30 to 50 million active users. Why does this not have even a 1 million notes? I have over 3,000 followers and so far only 2 reblogged this. I'm disappointed. Not an RPG idea, but very important. Always reblog. Reblog. How is this even a question? As an oppressed person, how can you not reblog to help other oppressed people? Anyone who ever made a I hate men post are disgusting. I don't care about your reason for it. Blaming a whole gender will never be okay.
I hate men. When men stop raping, sexually harassing, torturing, and killing women, then I'll stop hating them.
Wild how women who use the internet a lot are shamed for using their phones and being self-centered and taking selfies or whatever when men use the internet to basically unlearn empathy and become Nazis and terrorists.
Males who get sexually taken advantage of at a young age by women brag about it, like it, enjoy it, because males are completely sexual beings with no personhood or soul, no concept of consent or boundaries. People always complain about no one taking male rape seriously, when in reality males themselves don't take it seriously. Men in reality do not care. They in fact really enjoy it. They just pretend to care, to act like women are just as bad, or to blame feminism yet again. But if it was a girl... Men and their minions love to pretend that men are women and women are men, but they'll usually expose that they actually know what they are when they start bragging about being sexually abused. It's then that you'll start to see all the PR they do unravel to reveal sadistic necrophiles.
Lesbian does not mean attracted to vagina. Lesbian means attracted to women and only women. That's it. Stop reducing women to their genitals and stop invalidating trans lesbians and their girlfriends.
Although if you happen to be a lesbian who is only sexually attracted to people with vaginas, that's okay too, just be clear and polite about it.
No, that's wrong. Lesbian means attracted to women and only women, does not mean people with vaginas. You don't get to choose who has what parts or how those parts are identified. It's weird, gross, transmisogynistic, and transphobic. There's no polite way to state your prejudice. Stop I hate my fucking life.
White people can never truly understand the consequences of their terrible actions until they face the same oppression faced by people of color. Justice can never truly be served until white people enter into slavery to people of color. I, for one, would not only be willing to go into slavery, but I feel it would be my duty as a privileged white person to strip myself of toxic privilege. Even that will never be enough, as I would have a choice in the matter, and all throughout history, people of color have not had a choice, but I feel it would be a good start in the right direction.
The strangest thing about Deadpool 2, even with its grotesque levels of completely expected violence and gross humor, I walked out of the theater feeling like I was the target audience for the movie, whereas every other Marvel movie I've seen lately, it has felt like not only do the powers that be not give a single shit what I think about the movie, they often do the exact opposite of what I would want. Give us your money, they say, as they kill off all the characters I like again and again. For once, it wasn't just for the straight white male audience. They were there, but the queer narrative was undeniable and unavoidable. You couldn't ignore the gayness because it kept showing up, saving the day, and repeating how cute they were as a couple. Don't fuck Colossus, even though it's so obvious that he wants to. You remind me of my wife. Deadpool is pansexual, and there's nothing you can do about it. PSA, you can't be racist to white people because they aren't a race. You can't be sexist to men because they aren't a sex. You can't be heterophobic because straight isn't a sexuality. You can't be cisphobic because they aren't a gender. When I say I hate men, I'm not talking about every individual man in the world. I'm talking about men as a social class. But if you're the kind of man that gets offended when I say I hate men, then I do, specifically, hate you on an individual level. Why do dogs go mental when they see another dog? I imagine in their heads they're like, that's a dog, I'm a dog, 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 dog. I do this with queer people in unfamiliar environments. That is queer. I am queer. I'm queer, 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 queer. Muslims fasting and taking exams at the same time during Ramadan are braver than any U.S. Marine. Hashtag scratch that. It's Muslims are braver than any U.S. Marine. Lol. Hashtag please don't hate me so much. I'm so late to the meme. Hashtag Ramadan.
Wait, so y'all said earlier you're twins, but now you're in a romantic relationship? What?
We're biological twins, but we're in a romantic relationship, and we have been since some time before the start of this blog. What, do you have some kind of problem with that?
Incest is not a good thing. While loving your siblings as siblings and valued family members is good, having a romantic relationship with them is really bad. Please seek some mental help. Y'all are taking things way too far.
Love is love! Just because you hate us so much that you don't want us to find love does not make...
I don't want to reblog that gift set of Kate Winslet freezing her ass off in Titanic, but she actually got double pneumonia from filming those scenes without a wetsuit. And all because James Cameron wanted the fabric to be see-through when wet. When's the final straw? When do we snap and kill every man?
Messy girls are so incredibly woke and counterculture, etc. Every time I go into a girl's room and she just has a bowl of cereal rotting in the corner, I feel a deep sense of kinship.
I don't see the point in debating the personhood of a fetus. It doesn't, matter whether or not we assign a fetus personhood. It doesn't really change whether or not a pregnant person should be forced to give up their bodily anatomy against their will. Women cannot just steal men's livers in the dead of night, even if they need those organs to live. The elderly don't get to just go around and harvest the kidneys of the young in back alleys. You can't just, kidnap a person and drain all their blood, even if it's used for life-saving procedures. Fully grown autonomous people with rights and consciousnesses are not allowed to violate the bodily anatomy of others, even in deadly situations. situations. So why would we let a fetus do this, use another person's blood and uterus and stomach and everything else for months, altering their body irreparably, without their consent? No. Abortion is first and foremost an issue of consent and bodily autonomy, and any argument about personhood is a distraction from that.
Mod confession. I'm 21 years old. Ever since I was about 10, I've been getting memories of my past life.
The life directly before this one. I remember my home very clearly. I remember my dear prince very clearly. I remember visiting him nearly every day, waiting for him under a tree in a field of grass dotted with wildflowers. Just last month, I decided to watch Sailor Moon for the first time. And this scene is exactly what I fucking remember. I'm Princess Serenity, but I was never Usagi. I have 51 fictiotypes. Knowing that I now have a 52nd and not, what I thought it was my whole life, I feel like, I don't know, like I lied telling people about my memories before they were more developed, but also that my mind lied to me? I don't know, these feelings are very complicated. I was just hoping that the life I've been the most spiritually connected to wasn't fiction.
Considering that many pre-colonization African kingdoms and cultures recognized and affirmed multiple genders, and Wakanda has never been colonized or otherwise influenced by Western culture, it's well within the realm of possibility that Wakandan society has more than 2 genders.
I like this theory. White people, myself included, have tried through the centuries to say that there are only 2 genders as a way to oppress cultures that people of color created. Sadly, this colonist behavior by white people is still around today.